Dinosaur hybrids have always been a feature in movies dating all the way back to the early 2000s, but Jurassic World was the first film that really made them popular, with the introduction of the Indominus Rex. After that, hybrids became all the rave in the dinosaur community, with games such as Jurassic World the game, pumping out hybrids more than the homeless do children. After the first movie, there were more monstrosities made, such as the indoraptor, which was specifically made to be a biological weapon of war, all the way to the Spinoceratops, which is a very weird pick in all honesty. Like, what could possibly be the use for something like this? We've been so mesmerized by these new creations that we forgot some of the OGs that would quite frankly put the Jurassic World's hybrids to shame. Just to be clear, I'm not attacking the Jurassic franchise in any way, shape or form. This trilogy is actually my favorite, with Jurassic Park 3 being my favorite installment. You can hate on it all you want, but to me as a kid, these raptors looked way cooler than these. In this video, I'll discuss the strongest dinosaur, or to be more specific, prehistoric hybrids shown in media, because some of them aren't actually dinosaurs, but they did come from the same time period. From a dodo that could start a forest fire, to a pterosaur that would turn the tables on any mosasaurus that tried its luck. There's also going to be a non-canon hybrid, but it's so popular that I just might as well add it. Also guys, this is how I sound on the new mic. Do I sound any different, or is it the exact same? Because if it isn't, then that's $100 I'm never getting back. Or just maybe that my voice is irredeemable. Anyway, feels like I've rambled on long enough. Let's get right into the strongest versions of these accursed amalgamations. First up, as the ringleader, we have the Dodorex, ARK's most powerful canon hybrid that even overpowers the dodo wyvern. ARK's mascot ever since its official launch in 2015 was the dodo. It's the animal you immediately search for the moment you spawn as a new character to get hide and meat. Somehow Wildcard decided to use this to create the strongest tameable creature in the game. In terms of size, it's just as big as ARK's Giga, and it's the only other carnivore in vanilla ARK that can kill a wild Giga fairly easily. Even the Giga's Gnash ability doesn't affect it as much as other animals of its size. A quick side note for those wondering if I'll actually get a PC to play this game on another channel, the answer for now is a no. At least, yeah, it's a no. For me to play ARK to the point where it would be enjoyable for you guys to watch, I needed the bare minimum an RTX 4080 Super, and even then the game still glitches atrociously, so for now I'll probably just get an RTX 4070 and play something else until Snail Games get their act together. Back to the Dodorex, this animal only spawns during the Fury Evolved event, when its own personal Batman signal is shown in the sky between midnight and 5:30 AM. Or was it 6? I can't remember. Anyway, you have to find it before that time, with no indicator as to where the hell it will spawn on the map. And to fight this thing, you really need to bring out your strongest creatures, or you stand no chance unless you have a flyer to bail you out if things get hairy. Even if you do bring an army of mutated Rexes, there is still a chance that they could all be slaughtered in the fight, because this hybrid has the ability to spawn in its own little zombie dodo minions, which doesn't sound impressive, but these guys hit really hard for their size. And even when you do manage to beat it, the prices just aren't worth it. I mean, all you get is a Dodorex killer title, I think, and you get to tame some of these weird looking zombie dodos, which honestly isn't worth the stress trying to find it in the first place. In order to tame it, you have to gather 400 wishbones from the Roid Rage turkeys that spawn across the map during the Fury Evolved season, and when you do get it, it's for less than 30 minutes. This may sound short, but when it's spawned, no other creature on the island can rival it. Even if a wild Giga, Karkar and Titanosaur were to gang upon you, the odds would still be in your favor. It isn't just a raw powerhouse though, it also has the ability to spew flames like that of a wyvern. But these flames are even hotter than theirs, because in the game, you can literally see that they cause more damage. ARK's Giganotosaurus weighs more than 2 blue whales, and this hybrid is even heavier than that, with it likely reaching a mass of more than 480 tons. With that size, some of the most powerful kaiju in Kong Skull Island would have difficulty trying to bring down this behemoth. It's also an extremely durable animal. I mean, if something can get bitten repeatedly by ARK's Giganotosaurus and show little signs of damage unless the fight is prolonged, then it's fair to say that it's in a league of its own. And for you to bring this thing below half health, if you were to use rocket launchers, you would need more than 30 rounds of ammunition. And hits to the head and chest do not deal extra damage. In a real life setting, there isn't a single hybrid or dinosaur as a matter of fact that could oppose it, unless it's something from Dinosaur King, because it's Dinosaur King. If the Indominus even attempted to challenge it, the Dodorex would finish what that bazooka couldn't. For curiosity's sake, what would happen if something like this were to be dropped in a large city? Honestly, the casualties would likely be in the thousands because this animal doesn't discriminate. It's extremely hyper aggressive and will attack anything no matter the size, and by the time the military gets involved, the casualties would just be way too much. Speaking of the military, they would need to bring out their strongest weapons, because if rocket launchers have little effect on this thing, then the average grenade or missile won't do much. It's not far-fetched to think that this thing has armor such as osteoderms like that of crocodiles under its feathers. I mean, if it could breathe fire, then the possibility of its skin being armored isn't that far-fetched. A beast that can be seen as a hindrance for the military to take down is quite impressive, but a pterosaur that can take down a commercial plane and swim faster than a barracuda is something you do not see every day. Animal sci-fi movies were one of my favorite things to watch as a child. I remember one night where I watched all the Lake Placid movies and a few others like Pterandon from 8 to the night all the way to the morning. And of course, when I told my parents, they weren't exactly happy considering it was a school day. There has been a bunch of ridiculous movies of real life animals that they try to paint in the most bloodthirsty forms. I mean, that is fine, and to be honest, it is a shame that after 2018, most movies like this have stopped production. Hybrids such as the infamous Dino Croc that can pull a lady in half, and the Anaconda Piranha hybrid that's capable of striking so hard that their targets turn into a mist of blood are examples of some of these monstrosities. But the one that seemed like such a weird combination was the Pteranodon and Barracuda hybrid. This animal was created by a company that needed DNA from a living animal in order to bring this creature to life, and for whatever reason they chose a fish, a barracuda to be more precise. Now this wouldn't make any sense from a biological standpoint. Dino Croc is actually more likely to be a real thing than this, but these movies don't care about all of that. In terms of size, it's a pretty big animal with a wingspan more than double that of a real-life Quetzalcoatlus and a weight of more than 5 tons. I don't know about the rest of you, but something the size of an Asian elephant that can fly faster than a commercial airplane is an uncanny thought. The movie itself isn't called Pteracuda, it's actually Pteracuda vs Sharktopus. Sharktopus itself is probably one of the most famous sci-fi sea monsters behind Jaws. A lot of people say that all the movies were complete garbage, but I disagree. It was bad, but good bad, if you get what I'm saying. I mean, the terrible acting was so funny it made a 12-year-old me chuckle, and let's be honest, the CGI at the time was actually decent. The Pteracuda has the ability to swim at more than 65 miles per hour, which is faster than the fastest fish alive today, the swordfish. And as for in the air, well, it can travel faster than a peregrine falcon, and this terrain compatibility is what makes it such a dangerous amalgamation, because it can fly, swim, and obviously go on land. So if something like this was to be used in a warlike setting, there wouldn't be much you can do to stop it. It's strong enough to take down a commercial plane mid-flight and can take shotgun and automatic rifle blasts directly to the face and body without a trace of blood, which indicates some serious durability. At first, when it was being controlled by the scientists, it dived down at speeds of more than 150 miles per hour and destroyed an armored vehicle, just to return in the air where it then gained a mind of its own, I suppose. What stood out to me is that it didn't become a pile of blood and guts on the floor, because even with its enhanced bioengineering, something crashing down to the earth at speeds rivaling the fastest raptors today should break bones on impact. But this thing is so durable, I guess, that physics doesn't really apply to it. Its durability doesn't stop there. Sharktopus throws this thing into a lighthouse so hard that it snapped it in half, and he just got up and went for more. Even when fighting a human-controlled Sharktopus, it has the upper hand, while the octopus fish was stabbing it repeatedly in the chest and stomach. In its final battle with Sharktopus, it was actually winning for the most part. It literally took an explosive with an aftershock that reaches more than 2 miles to finally kill this thing, and surprisingly, Sharktopus somehow survived despite being right next to Pteracuda. This is off topic, but people really do overrate Jurassic World creatures sometimes. Okay, before you get mad, hear me out. Sharktopus took that same explosion point blank in the face that is far more powerful than the one the Indominus Rex took and survived. And Sharktopus has the ability to launch an animal weighing almost 6 tons, hundreds of meters, and so hard that it broke a lighthouse in half. Yet a lot of people, especially the biased power scalers, seem to think that she would win easily, just because she takes bites from Rexy and has a weight advantage. Now I'm not saying that she wouldn't win, because no matter how I twist and turn it, she kinda does have the upper hand in a lot of abilities. But it definitely wouldn't be easy. However, there's an upgraded version of her that's canon at this point, and this version has enough weaponry to bring down Pteracuda and the shark hybrid with much more ease. The Indominus Rex, the very hybrid that set a brand new precedent for the Jurassic franchise, with the bulk and raw power of a T-Rex combined with the intelligence and additional weaponry of a velociraptor. She wasn't even fully grown in the movie. She would have been as big or possibly even bigger than the Spinosaurus in Camp Cretaceous. Yet despite her enhanced intelligence and physical upgrades over the regular dinosaurs, she does have a few chinks in her armor when compared to the previous two hybrids, more so her durability, which is amazing, don't get me wrong, but compared to things that are so tough that sparks fly when bullets hit their skin, she isn't really in that tier. In a fight, however, she does actually have a chance of beating the sci-fi monstrosity with her intelligence and grappling arms, but with something that's strong enough to fly with something just as heavy or even heavier than it in the air would be hard even for her. However, Goji Center has created a version of her that covered all flaws and made it into assets. Goji Center is definitely the most popular channel on YouTube when it comes to kaiju and hypothetical fights between dinosaurs and other animals. I've been watching them for who knows how long now, and the evidence they provide to back up their creations and videos always amazes me. Their most famous creation, the Indominus 2.0, is a significantly upgraded version of the Indominus that has gained so much popularity that at this point, a lot of people seem to find it canon. Is it lazy that I didn't find another hybrid from another official game or show? Yes, a little, but I just had to mention this thing. It's not quite as tall as the Indominus Rex, but this is granted a better center of gravity, which would make it way less likely to get toppled over, and by expressing more ape DNA, her front limbs have been extended and made more bulky to support her weight while running on all fours. The Indominus will now be able to use tools the same way apes such as chimpanzees do. And with the Saurophagonax DNA in the mix, the claws are much more suited for grappling and making deeper wounds that would topple animals weighing excess of 50 tons. In terms of durability, it probably can't take explosive directly to the body like some of the other hybrids, but the dwarf crocodile armor would grant it more than enough protection to withstand most attacks from even Sharktopus. In terms of attacks, the Indominus 2.0 has way more bloodlust than the original due to the shrew DNA. I'm sure some of you have seen those videos of tiny weasels and other mustelids going overdrive and killing prey much larger than them constantly due to their fast metabolism. Well, imagine that, but on steroids. With it now having teeth as strong as steel, coupled with venomous saliva, it would easily overpower hybrids such as Terracuda. As for the Dodorex, the only reason that would win is because of its outrageous size. If the Indominus 2.0 and the Dodorex were at parity, the 2.0 would easily grapple and beat the feathered monstrosity. As for things such as Terracuda and Sharktopus, their weapons would have little effect on this thing, and its beefed up arms would make it strong enough to now keep them in place, long enough just to dispatch them with ease. The next hybrid dinosaur is from a game few of you have ever heard about, but this one can flip tanks and headbutt helicopters down to the floor. This is going to be a short one because the game is very straightforward and there isn't much to cover. So far we've talked about hybrids that are bigger than a blue whale and others that can cause a worldwide pandemic. But this one can take out dozens of armored helicopters and tanks without breaking a sweat, called Hybrid Spinosaurus Swamp Rampage, and is an interesting game to say the least. As the game suggests, you start off as a regular Spino without any genetic engineering. Right from the get-go, the Spinosaurus can fight off many armies of soldiers and break down multiple structures. Even its size is impressive. This animal is more than 60 feet long, yet has the ability to jump the same length upwards without breaking anything. And as I've preached in a lot of videos, any megatheropod that even attempted to jump 30 feet would get their ankles taken. However, in its base form, it still is susceptible, oh my god, you know what I mean, to heavy gunfire and lasers. This is where the hybridization comes in. So there's a bunch of different animals or animal groups entirely you can mix with the Spinosaurus. It can have a mixture of different avian animals that allows it to stay in the air for longer and also grants you some sort of shockwave effect. Something similar to a sperm whale, which can create sound at such high frequencies that it can destroy a small house. Well, this thing can do that, but it destroys tanks and helicopters. It could also be fused with crocodile DNA, which grants it extra armor and also quills that are 10 feet long. And they can just shoot out repeatedly unless the creature has been killed. Then there's the exoskeleton edition, which grants it even more armor. The most powerful version of this thing is a complete mix of everything, so the avian, crocodile and whatever quilled creature DNA. This version can stay in the air longer, shoot spines out of its back repeatedly, and create shockwaves that can disintegrate buildings, war helicopters, and tanks all the same. Even multiple helicopters with advanced artillery barely leave a dent in this thing's health, and whenever it eats something, it's able to recover its health almost instantly. The only way to effectively kill this thing is to keep barraging it with weapons without giving it a chance to eat so it won't regenerate. This so far is the most powerful hybrid under the Dodorex, because even Goji Center's masterpiece wouldn't quite be able to take this thing down. But knowing Goji Center, he'd probably give an accurate description as to just why this thing wouldn't even be able to function in a real life setting. This game is actually like a sort of genre. There are other rampage dinosaur games like the Giganotosaurus and the Rex, but I think this one is the most powerful of the bunch. Now I know some of you are probably asking where are other hybrids like Samson and Hank 2.0, but let's be honest, if I put them it would kinda just be cheating. The only reason I even put the Indominus 2.0 was because it was the original that started the entire trend. When I do make another hybrid video, it will be just discussing the strongest hybrids in the said hybrid wars, which isn't ending for a while I think. By the way, I had to withhold every fiber in my being not to put 2004's Dino Croc. It's by far my favorite dinosaur hybrid, but if I had put him, it would clearly just be my bias. Firstly, he's the size of a large Suchomimus, and his greatest feat was surviving a train hitting him directly, which is impressive, but that's just about it. He isn't like the Sharktopus or Terracuda that have so much extra abilities that it would allow him to win against the original Indominus in an open field, because she is smarter, larger, and stronger, with Dino Croc's only arguable advantages being that he could swim and has slightly better durability. I'm not going to lie though, finding hybrids outside of the Jurassic franchise was a challenge in itself, but hey, I pulled through. That's gonna be it for this video guys. Let me know if the new mic was any improvement in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.